Hello from Berlin to Washington. Hello, John Bolton, former National Security Advisor of the United States of America and amongst other very important functions in the US administration, US Ambassador to the United Nations. Hello to Washington.
Well, glad to be with you. Thanks for having me.
It's very nice to have you, sir. Washington Inside is our theme here today, only a few days before one of the most important elections in American history. And what could be more inside than the Oval Office, where American politics are discussed on the very highest level? The room where it happened, so to say. That is the title of John Bolton's revealing book about Donald Trump's presidency. Ambassador, in your book, President Trump appears as somebody who puts his own political interests even above national security interests of the US. And I quote, "In fact, I'm hard-pressed to identify any significant Trump decision during my tenure that wasn't driven by re-election calculations." So what do you think? Will he be re-elected? What are his chances?
Well, at this point, it's very hard to say, and discussion about what will happen on November the 3rd is driven by the memory of the 2016 election, where the pollsters and the pundits and the commentators all said that Hillary Clinton would easily beat Trump for the White House, and it turned out obviously that was not true. Right now, the polls, both at the national level and more importantly from the U.S. perspective at the state levels, have Biden in the lead, but these polls were wrong in 2016, and some people fear and some people hope that they will be wrong again this year. And the way I like to put it is, at this point, I would bet $1 that Biden is elected, but I wouldn't bet any more than that.
Okay, let's take it for the dollar. Why? I mean, you are on record of saying that you are not going to vote for Mr. Trump. Neither for Mr. Biden, of course. But why, in your opinion, should one not vote for Mr. Trump?
Well, I think there are two reasons. Number one, Trump doesn't adhere to any philosophy. He's certainly not a conservative or a Republican. That's not to say he's a liberal or a Democrat in American terms. He's Donald Trump. That's what he favors. He doesn't pursue grand strategy. He doesn't really pursue policy. So from a philosophical perspective, the decisions that he made in his first term that Republicans support were, I think, driven because he calculated that would make the base happy and they would support him for re-election. So that's a philosophical reason not to think that in a second term, when he doesn't face re-election anymore, he will be governed by the same political considerations. But second, I don't think he's competent to be president. He doesn't really care about learning the key issues he needs to worry about, as every other president has, Democrat or Republican. He doesn't think in long-term perspectives. He makes ad hoc, erratic, emotional, gut-level decisions. And I think that's very destructive. I think it's particularly destructive in foreign and defense policy. But it also means that his policies are unpredictable. He puts off allies, he confuses adversaries, and while the damage that's been done in the first Trump term, I think, can be fixed, I'm not sure that two Trump terms wouldn't leave us with some damage that's irreparable.